The following show is proudly brought to you by MTN Business. When we help your small business grow into a big business, we're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.
I've got MTN Business in studio today to talk about a topic called 5G. We've all heard about 5G. It's a controversial thing. It's got a lot of mythology around it. And instead of having my normal slot today, I decided that I wanted to deal with 5G once and for all. I wanted to understand it. I just want to start off by trying to understand the difference between 4G and 5G.
LTE was a game changer. We went from 20 megabit per second, by the way, for the tower in total, which is shared amongst people who connect, to 100 megabit per second. Suddenly that's 5 times more speed. And then now we finally at 5G, which is up to a gigabit per second. So that's 10 times faster than LTE.
Right.
Spectrum dependent and the way their networks are engineered, and it also depends on distance as well. Just to maybe create a continuum for the viewers, effectively 2G gave us wide coverage, but very low capacity, slow download speeds, slow upload speeds. Whereas on LTE, not so great coverage, which means we need many more towers, but much faster download speeds and a much superior browsing experience.
And 5G?
I mean, it's going to be 10 times better, right? Faster downloads, faster uploads. But there's also something different with 5G. It's called latency. The amount of time it takes for the cell phone to communicate with the internet and back. This is significantly reduced. On LTE, we're looking at 23 milliseconds. On 5G, it's 1 millisecond. This opens an avenue of possibilities in terms of automated machines, controlling factories remotely, self-driving cars. This will all be powered by the 5G networks of the future. Within South Africa, I mean, we are governed by what we call ICASA, the Independent Communications Authority, and there's stringent technical specifications on how these networks are built, which has been tested. It's been tested in the UK, tested in places like Norway, Australia. We belong to what we call the International Telecommunications Union, where countries worldwide set regulations on 5G. And I'm happy to report that MTN and Vodacom, all the mobile operators, adhere to those standards. To be frank, our standards are even more stringent than you'd find in the UK, as an example.
So what's going to happen now to fiber? Because fiber is like almost, you've got the 5G towers, which effectively is through the air, line of sight, I'm assuming, and you've got fiber which runs under the ground, right?
Yes.
So what's going to happen to fiber? Is fiber going to become redundant?
So not necessarily. I mean, in my view, in the past, it was perceived as fiber being superior to mobile technologies. And that may be true. On a broadband fiber service or a dedicated fiber service, it's 100 megabit per second. For us to try and achieve 100 megabit per second to a cell phone on LTE takes a lot of spectrum, radio efficiencies and planning. So I believe that now with 5G coming in, this is an alternate to fiber. In areas where fiber was not rolled out, maybe the business case didn't make sense. There weren't enough customers who could afford a fiber service. Now with 5G, it'll bring high-speed broadband to those areas. Number two is, because of the latency, the fact that 5G is superior latency, it's going to spawn new industries a lot. This is now the fourth industrial revolution that we've spoken about, now coming to the fore, where you could operate a factory remotely. You could look into businesses doing monitoring of utility services, electrical services, plumbing. You could get into proactive maintenance, as an example. Take a coffee shop. If you sell a coffee machine, a barista machine, you can embed sensors and using 5G network technology, know when that machine's about to break, so you repair it ahead of time.
That's all we've got time for today. Well, and thanks for, you've got such a beautiful way of explaining very complex things simply, and I think that's why we enjoy having you on the show. So thank you.
This show was proudly brought to you by MTN Business. Visit mtnbusiness.co.za for great deals and services. We're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.